Wrestling Observer reports Sean Stipich, they spelt your both names wrong, was fired at the December the 6th tapings in Worcester, Massachusetts by Jim Ross in front of everybody. Apparently, Stasiak had secretly kept a tape recorder in his bag and would tape while he was gone to hear what people were saying behind his back, and was also allegedly tape recording locker room and road conversations and had gotten caught. What's the real story?
Yeah, wow. That's a story that's followed me around. My name will forever be synonymous with that tape recorder incident. I just embrace it now. And I've said this in the last few interviews that I've done. It's amazing how information gets out there and it gets completely blown out of proportion or so fabricated, and or there's 20 different versions, right? Well, and that's funny. You must be reading my mind, because I was just thinking about that. I wonder when that question's coming up, because that's how you and I met. I commented on the Dr. Tom interview, and I said, hey, if you want the real story, James, let me know. I was there. Stupid mistake. I was young. It was just a stupid thing to do looking back. I mean, I've realized this when it happened 20 plus years ago, 22 years ago. My dad bought my first tape recorder when I was a kid. I was always clowning around, imitating, doing impersonations. I was always just again, I like to document, which is, audio, video. I love to capture moments and look back on and create memories, And so I had a tape recorder in my bag. And of course, this was always advised or suggested by, I think, Dr. Tom, and I think Dory Funk Jr. for sure. Remember, as part of our training, hey, you're on the road a lot, you travel all the time, you spend hours upon hours in a car going from one town to the next. Get a tape recorder and work on your craft, work on your promos, work on your character, work on your interview skills, right? So that's why I had the damn thing in the first place. And back then were the days of cassette tapes, those big, like the Walkmans with the big cassette. As I had like a bunch of those in my bag that had there were music tapes, right? But so to really speed this up and Reader's Digest this thing, because I've talked about this 1,000 times. I just was playing a joke. It was a rib that I was attempting to play on a couple wrestlers that I was traveling with, Davey Boy Smith and Steve Blackman. And we were in Quebec, Canada. And of course, everything's French there. And, after about 3-4 days cooped up in a car, traveling from town to town, and making that loop, you're tired by the end of it, And so they were just bickering and fun, ribbing each other or whatever. And so I thought, I'll play a joke on it. I'm going to record them on when they start bitching and complaining, and then play it back for them. Say, hey, this is how you guys sounded today, or this whole trip. I can't, it was just a rib that I was going to play it back. And I want to make this real clear, because this is so stupid. I get it's amazing. These keyboard warriors get on there and they want to crucify me to this very day. It's like, oh, that was illegal. He should have gone to jail for that. What was he secretly taping? And oh my God, I was working for Hard Copy. I was working for WCW at the time. I was going to use it to blackmail. Look, if there was anything that those guys talked about that was serious or something that was real, I wouldn't have recorded, man. It was all goofy stuff that they were engaging in that I was just documenting to play back for them just as a joke. Stupid thing to do, right? But I thought it was going to be a fun rib to pull at the time. But essentially, it's what got me fired, man, and from my dream job. And it caused me a lot of despair, a lot of grief. But basically, had it out during the end of the trip, and I was recording. It was Steve Blackman, and I said, hey, Steve, what do you think of the Montreal airport? I had it out and I put it up to his face like I was a reporter, and he said, and he looked at me funny and he said, you weren't, he didn't feel comfortable. I could tell. So I turned it off. He said, you weren't recording with that in the car or anything or any other time. And this is where I went wrong. I lied. I said, no, because I knew at that instant moment, I had a decision to make. Sean, these guys don't really know you. They don't know the fun-loving Sean. If they grew up around you or knew who you were, they would know everything's fine, but I went wrong. I lied. I knew at that point the rib is dead. I'll just record over it. There's no sense in, there's no use for it now. So I said, no problem. Put it in my bag. End of story. Next day we're at TV's. I go to the locker room, put my bag in the locker room. I'm out to the ring, going over my match, getting ready for the show. Someone comes out and grabs me, says, Sean, you got to come back, man. This is not good. It doesn't look good. You're in trouble, man. I'm like, what? I didn't have a clue what it could be about. Had the whole locker room there staring at me, with my bag out. I had my clothes torn, all the cassette tapes all scattered all over the floor, busted tapes in the garbage can. I mean, it was just a really, really bad look for me, because I had said I wasn't recording, but your voice is on the damn thing. When you think that if I was trying to secretly tape anybody, why would I leave my bag so available for anybody just to come by and grab? I mean, in my heart and mind, there's no use for it. It didn't even dawn on me. But when you talk about wrong place, wrong time, that's exactly what happened in that case. And it just it was a really bad look for me. And so and I understand that, like, now knowing, and I was going to give you the Reader's Digest version. Geez. Now that I look back on it, though, if that were to happen today, and of course, things are much more revealed, and you have social media and people are recording everything now. But I understand I'd have a problem with it too. I'd say, who's this guy? What's he doing? I don't trust to be around this guy. I don't want to talk around. I mean, I understand it was just a really stupid thing to do. Honest to God, truth, never meant any harm whatsoever, but it got me fired. No, I wasn't paranoid to the point that I got to record the boys in the locker room to see what they might be saying. What are they saying about me? I'm so paranoid. I'm going to, have a tape. Come on, man. That's what I just shared with you is the honest to God truth. That's what happened. And caused me a lot of grief, man. I don't think I ever truly recovered from that with WWE. I think that they somehow, some way, it was always used against me somehow. And that might've been maybe a part of the reason, or a big reason, why I didn't feel like I could ever get anything behind me in that company, as far as a push, as far as a real, just some love and support, I guess.
When I think of ribs and sense of humor in the wrestling world, I think of Steve Blackman. It might have been I think it might have been Steve Blackman that might have been the wrong target for that, I suppose.
I don't think it mattered who it was. It was just a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying with giving his reputation, but I'm not intimidated by that, or felt intimidated by any of that. In fact, I like Steve because he's one of the first people that I met when I had my WWE experience. They brought him in as one of those tryout to take a look at kind of thing. And I was there to work with him and, try to help him as best I could to get hired with WWE. So I liked him. He had dry sense of humor, but he's actually a funny guy. And I've talked to Steve since then. I think Steve's a good guy, man, for sure.
Yeah, I apologize to you as well, because I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad afterwards, because it sort of like perpetuates it, because I forget that people watch these things.